Well, good morning. Today's lesson is on the illusion of time. Once again, we find ourselves in the midst of another Christmas holiday season, and I noticed that a number of conversations that I've had recently where the essence of the thoughts expressed was, where did the year go? And I thought we just had Christmas, and here it is all over again. So as we approach this holiday season, I thought I'd take a moment to talk about the illusion of time. We know that time as such is a constant. A minute consists of 60 seconds, an hour consists of 60 minutes, a day consists of 24 hours, and 24 hours today lasts exactly the same amount of time that it did 100 years ago, or even 2,000 years ago. Our methods of measuring time have improved over the centuries, but time itself remains constant. What changes during our lifetimes is our perception of time. When I was young, I remember waiting for my birthday or for Christmas, and time seems to take an eternity to pass. A recent episode of South Park included a scene where Eric Cartman finds himself waiting at the game store for 3 weeks for the release of the new game system. You can imagine how difficult it was for him to wait that 3 weeks for the release of the new game. It seems that when we're faced with a challenge of being patient, especially if we're waiting for the time to come to open presents, time passes very slowly. Yet as we age, our birthdays seem to come along faster and faster each year. The measurement of minutes, hours, and days remains constant, yet our expectations vary greatly. Of course, if there's something we're not looking forward to, such as serving on jury duty, our impression of time may speed up, and our appointment to serve comes along faster and sooner than we might have liked. Of course, it's our mind, our mentality, that's playing games with us. I spoke several weeks ago about how life is full of wake-up calls, and it's our job to hear those wake-up calls and act accordingly and appropriately. Again, I ask you give some thought to the words that we heard recently. He who believes in me shall do the works which I do, and even greater things than these he shall do, because I am going to my Father. What is it in your universe you could do to honor the challenge that Jesus put forth 2,000 years ago to the human race? How can you change your life to honor that challenge? In looking at life, it may help to take a look at the life cycle of a flower. Flowers have always fascinated me. When I was growing up, I recall that we always had freshly cut flowers, especially roses in our household in the summertime. My father had about 30 rose bushes in the backyard, so we always had a variety of roses from which to choose. When I was growing up, I always assumed everyone had freshly cut flowers in their home, and of course, when I grew up, I found out this wasn't always the case. In biology, I recall learning that flowers had various shapes and colors to attract bees for pollination. There are flowers that only last a few hours, flowers that open only at night and close up by morning's light, flowers like orchids that last for weeks at a time, and then there's one flower that blooms once a year and gives off a putrid odor. Then there's the act of giving flowers. When a man gives flowers to his significant other, he might be making a bold statement, declaring undying love and compassion for his lover. I doubt that the bees understand that the flowers they are pollinating might be used to entice human lovers, but who knows? Only God, I suppose. The flower is a representation of love, of the beauty of God's universe, and its limited life reminds us of how limited life is, in that it exists in one moment and can be gone in the next. We can plant an amaryllis bulb in the soil, nurture it with water and sunlight, and from day to day we can watch it grow from a mere bulb into a giant flower over the period of about 2 or 3 weeks. The flowers last a week or two and then fade quickly into nothingness. And the only reminder we have of that exquisite beauty is the bulb in the pot of soil. and our memories, or photos if we were clever enough to take them when we had our opportunity. The point of this discussion is that on flowers is to say that flowers represent the cycle of life. It's usually a short cycle compared to the lives of pets or humans, but it reminds us that our time here is limited, and it's up to us to make the most of the time we are given. Some of us use our time to raise children. Others teach lessons. Others spend time in laboratories searching for cures to disease, ways of improving technology. And still others write books, plays, provide entertainment, and others work in politics, all of whom, in some way, shape, or form, use their time and talents to improve the quality of life on earth. I've mentioned in the past that I've been wondering whether or not we're answering Jesus' teaching that we will do greater things than he did. And if we were doing those things, what would our planet look like? The flower reminds us that our time is indeed limited, and it's up to us to get busy and do whatever it is that we're here to accomplish. You have a great deal of time to do whatever you feel called upon to do, and it's up to you alone to discern what your task is and go forward. Little Matty Stepanek had a very short life, yet he found himself on television, where he met President Carter, Oprah, and a whole host of celebrities. Not only did he receive national attention for his cause, but he left behind a book of inspirational messages and stories. I imagine that he won't soon be forgotten. As we move through the Christmas season into the new year, we will all take some time at some point to reflect upon the past year. We'll look at all the good things and the bad things that happened, and we may think about the things that we meant to do but never got around to doing. We'll look at our goals for the year and see how close we came to achieving those goals. And of course, we always have next year to do whatever we didn't have time to do this year. In talking about time, we're reminded that the metaphysical definition of time is that time is the unfoldment of God's plan. We simply let God's plan for each one of us unfold, just as a bud of a flower unfolds to reveal God's plan and gives us a chance to see the beauty of God's world revealed. If we weren't patient enough to wait to see the unfoldment of God's plan, we'd miss out on that beauty. Don't miss your opportunity. Remember to be patient when it's appropriate. We're also familiar with the expression, time heals all wounds. Again, as we survey the timeline of our lives, the measurement of time remains constant. But the time it takes to heal old wounds, whether they be literal wounds or figurative wounds, may seem like it's taking forever. Know that if you're trying to be patient and wait for those wounds to heal, that they will indeed heal. And hopefully, you will have gained knowledge in your experience to help you as you go forward. As I've said before, don't wait for tomorrow to be happy. Your happiness is now. In your meditations, ask God for guidance. Know that at every turn, there are universal guides to show you the way. Remember that Jesus told us that these and greater things shall you do. Are you doing those greater things with your life? Only you can know the answer to that question. As always, I want to remind you that with God, all things are possible. Whatever you set your mind to doing, you can accomplish that goal. Just as we heard in the scripture this morning, let Jesus' words fill your consciousness as you arise, and let your light so shine. All you have to do is spend time in meditation, ask for and accept the help which is always available to you at any time, anywhere. Thank you for your attention this morning, and join me now in the acceptance statement. Now, may the light illumine our mind with wisdom, may love fill our heart with understanding, may the one life shine forth from our innermost being, so that we walk renewed in light, life, love, today, tomorrow, and forever.